Hi, it's Dr. Lori, and this is Real Bargains, where I show you from thrift stores, yard sales, estate sales, the things that real people just like you have found, and of course, worth a lot of money. I've got permission to retell all of these stories. Let's get started. So my first real bargain comes from a video call, and the video calls are really easy to do. I like to talk with all of you on video calls. The real bargain comes from an estate sale. It's a Murano style glass Italian-made clown figurine. Oh my gosh, it's huge, and that's where the value is. When something like this is so big, that's when you're looking for value. So my caller is at an estate sale, and he says to me, Dr. Lori, I saw it, and I really am not popular with clowns. Clowns are not my favorite, but when I saw how big it was, I thought I really should go take a closer look. So this was at an estate sale, it was kind of in a corner, and he said I had to go over to it. He goes, nobody was around it, and I think most people thought that it wasn't Murano style. I think they thought they didn't like the clown. He wasn't really sure why people weren't around it. So he said, then I saw what the problem was. He said there was a little bit of damage on it. He said, and I think people just said, well, you know what, if there's a little bit of damage, it's got to go. Well, when I looked at it at the video call, I told him that it is Murano style, made in Venice, Italy. It's blown glass, multicolored, and all of those attributes are going to be easy to resell it. So he said, well, the fact that it was 24 inches or 2 feet high on a stand, on like a pedestal, he thought, I got to look at it again. So he looks at it again. We're talking on the video call, and I said, can you turn it around for me? He said, sure, I can turn it around. I said, show me where the damage is. And he said, well, the damage is kind of on the hand. I said, well, it looks like something was there, and it has since broken off. So the break was clear. You couldn't really tell that there was something missing unless you really scrutinized it. So $24 is what he paid. He said, I didn't negotiate. I figured it was big, and I figured $1 an inch because it was 24 inches tall. He said $1 an inch. So I figured that was pretty good. He paid $24 for it, and it's worth, with the damage, $2,000. That's a real bargain. And it also has the multicolored glass that lots of people love and the blown glass Murano style that people are looking for. My next real bargain comes from a video call from the thrift store, the St. Vincent de Paul thrift store. There are a lot of charity thrift stores out there, and a lot of thrift stores, of course, that are run for all different reasons, for, to save pets, to help, of course, hospitals, the Junior League, whatever it might be. So whatever thrift store or estate sale or yard sale you find your treasures at, I want you to keep looking. And right here on the channel, I want to show you what you should be looking for. All you have to do is mark down what I show you to look for, go find it, and then you can resell it at these values. Every one of these pieces have been, in fact, identified and appraised by me based on actual sales records where similar pieces have sold. They've sold for this. So the next one is from a video call from the St. Vincent de Paul. They bought it at the thrift store, and it's an unusual object. And my video caller said to me, Dr. Lori, he was really cute, but I didn't know what he was. He said, I knew it was ceramic, but that's all I knew. So she said, can you tell me about it? I said, I can tell you a lot about it. First of all, it's a Colima piece. Colima is the western central area of Mexico, very well known. And this piece relates to the tradition of the pre-Columbian artisans in that area, all the way back from the 10th century, all the way until, of course, 1492, when Columbus comes to the New World, if you will. So a Colima dog. Colima dogs are very well known, and they're in major museums. I said, well, this was just sitting on a shelf at the thrift store? She said, yeah, it was just sitting on the shelf at the thrift store. I explained to her that it's red clay, and red clay ware, which is incised, or all of those elements are cut out of the object. If you look at this object, it looks like it's a vessel, right? There's an opening at the top, and of course the water or whatever the liquid is goes into actually the body. Usually it's water. So it holds something. So it goes into the body right from the top. It's a vessel in the form of a dog. So it's figural. These animals had particular impact on the culture of course, the pre-Columbians. So she said, well, wow, is it really all that old? I said, it's pretty old. Probably dates to about the 19th century. It's not pre-Columbian for time period, but in its form, it's pre-Columbian. I said, and the good deal is it's not the 1960s fakes that were being sold to tourists in the 1960s. I said, you've got the 19th century or the 1800s version. Said, it's a really good piece. I said, what did you pay? She said, I paid $4. It was senior day and I got a discount. It's like, that is great. That is great. What's it worth? $1,500. Why? Perfect condition. That's first. Also, it's a rare form. You don't usually see these coming from the 19th century. And of course, it harkens back to the tradition of course, South and Central America. Beautiful, beautiful example and a real bargain too. My next real bargain comes from a video call too, and it's jewelry. You know, I love jewelry. I oftentimes tell you, jewelry is easy to source, it's easy to ship, it's easy to resell, it's beautiful if you want to have your own collection. And this example is all of those things. This was from a thrift store find. Actually, it was a Goodwill Bluebox. You know the Goodwill Blueboxes. You can get them for only a little bit, right? And you get all different things in the Goodwill Bluebox. This is a Tahitian black pearl necklace. It is, in fact, marked sterling silver, 925, and this chain is marked Italy. The Tahitian black pearls are on a necklace that measures about 24 inches long. So that's about, mid-bust, if you will. It's a pretty long chain, the links on the chain, and then these two elements that make the pendant, which are Tahitian black pearls. Tahitian black pearls are oftentimes identified, of course, by their size in millimeters, right? And then these have a very nice luster, and that's what you're looking for, the color and the luster of the pearls. Really nice. So I asked my video caller, so what did you pay? She said, well, it was a blue box. So at that time, the blue boxes were $30. So I paid $30 for everything in the blue box, and I got a lot of different things, but this was really what I wanted to show you, Dr. Lori. I said, I'm glad you did show it to me. It's worth $350. What do I always tell you? Try to buy at about 10% of the true value. Now, you don't always know the true value, but the lower you can get, the better off you'll be. So at 10%, about $30 to make something worth $350, that's where I like you to be in terms of it. Sure, sometimes you have to pay 30% of the real value. You're still getting a deal, but I like you to be around 10% or shoot for 10% of that value. Very, very good. Nice real bargain there too. The next real bargain, I loved it when I saw it. It was from a video call and it was a yard sale buy. Yard sales, people are giving away the farm on the front lawn. Lots of valuable stuff at yard sales. Thrift stores, antique stores, estate sales, all over. Online auctions, lots of good stuff too. But this one's from a yard sale. And this one, when I saw it, I said, well, this is great. Why is it great? People are collecting barware. This decanter is very popular. People love colored glass. People love the contrast between clear glass and colored glass, right? And this is, of course, Murano. That's right. It is designed by Vittorio Zecchin, very famous designer with the Murano, of course, glass blowing center in Venice, Italy. And this yard sale buy is a decanter with the matching stopper. You got to get the matching stopper, right? You hope that you have the matching stopper. And these come in designs of the gold. The stopper is green on this example, but they always also come with the gold and also with the purple, the lavender color stoppers. The stopper has to fit. And of course, it has to be the same tonality of the glass, right? So when you look through the glass, you have to make sure it's the same green. You don't want light green stopper with a dark green stripe. So think about that too. But identifying the piece was really quite easy for a couple of reasons. It had the characteristic Murano pontil at the bottom. It, of course, has the matching stopper. And Vittorio Zecchin's designs are very well known. So again, mid-century modern all the way into the 1970s. It's 12 inches tall. Size will matter with these things. So making sure you have a larger one if you have the chance, right? If you're going to say, oh, I can only buy one, I got to get the bigger one or the smaller one, try to find the extra pennies in your pocketbook to buy the bigger one. It's always a good idea. It was marked on the bottom as well. And again, at the yard sale, they were asking $15. Now, I always tell you, negotiate. Be polite, have cash, be ready to pay, but negotiate. And you'll say, oh, Dr. Lori, they don't negotiate at my Goodwill. Or, oh, Dr. Lori, I'm afraid to negotiate. Please, you have to negotiate. I know, and even the day when that one place that yard sale that never negotiates, they're very, very hard-nosed about it. They don't want to negotiate. Ask them anyway. Be polite. It might be the day that they decide I want to get rid of it. Or it might be the thing that they just say, I really need to sell this. Ask. It cannot hurt, right? It will also make you more comfortable in asking about negotiating. It'll also teach you some of the methods to negotiate. There's not only one way to negotiate. You can negotiate in a lot of ways. Maybe you buy more objects at the yard sale, right? You could do that too. So my video caller paid $10 for the decanter, right? Barware is really hot. Murano is always hot. Glass, colored glass, equally hot. What's it worth? $250. Oh, beautiful example, wonderful, and easy to resell if that's your aim. And it goes with everything if you just want to keep it in your own collection. This next real bargain comes from a video call too. Video calls, again, easy to do. You can book them right on drloriv.com. Simple. And you can do it with your schedule. So Goodwill, this was in the bins. You know the Goodwill bins. You're moving through everything. I love the treasure hunt. The treasure hunt is really fun. And the Goodwill bins, there have been wonderful things that have come out of the Goodwill bins. I've appraised in my priority Ask Dr. Lori service stuff that came out of the Goodwill bins that even included a Jackson Pollock painting. So you know what? The Goodwill bins can have some pretty good stuff. This was, of course, a doll clothes, and actually also a doll clothing trunk. So all kinds of doll clothes and the trunk, and the doll was 16 inches tall, and the trunk also matched her. So she's a pretty significantly tall doll. And then the trunk, which actually is like a wardrobe, it closes and opens, that hangs all of the clothes for this doll, was in a very typical, quintessentially 1950s pattern, the starburst pattern of the late 1950s. You can see it. That pattern goes along with those pink Cadillacs and Elvis Presley of the 1950s. So it's really a nice piece, and it's really indicative of a time. So my video caller paid $5 for it. So she paid $5 for it at the bins. She's taken it all out. She gets all of the stuff inside, and she said, you know, Dr. Lori, I just thought maybe, you know, I could in fact resell it for something. So I'm on the video call, and I said, well, all of it, the doll, the wardrobe, and all the clothing has value individually too, all the clothing were $350. The update is it sold for $380. So when you say, oh, Dr. Lori, I can't get that much for my stuff, where do you get these values? Based on actual sales records, and there's the testimonial that it sold based on my appraisal. Now, what do I think was happening with the doll clothes and the wardrobe and the doll? I think the person who bought it is going to resell it and still make money by individually selling it. My video caller didn't want to spend that time and do that. She wanted to sell it all as a group. That's fine. That's her decision. But I bet that the person who bought it from her for more than $30 over the appraised value, right, is going to actually sell it piecemeal. And that's a good way to make extra money too. So there's a reselling tip for you as well. My next real bargain comes from a video call, and this video call was a thrift store buy. She wanted to tell me about this thrift store buy. It is, in fact, a beautiful necklace. Now, again, necklaces, you know, it's a lot about taste, but it's always about quality. It's always about condition. It's always about what looks good and what's made well. This is very well made. First of all, I always tell you, look for materials. And I show you on the website as well as on the channel, I show you what marks you're looking for. So a lot of you are telling me, hey, Dr. Lori, you know what I do? I make sure that I know the marks. I keep a list of all the stuff that you show me I should look for, and then when I see that stuff, I buy it. That's what I want you to do. That's what this channel does for you. It shows you what to buy. So this piece was marked 925 sterling silver. It's 18 inches long, and it's a sterling silver necklace. So it's a chain, like a link chain of sterling silver, and then these individual discs. And these discs are all individually cast individually, and then they literally are placed onto this necklace. So really beautiful. A lot of handwork is done. And when you see handwork being done with jewelry, the value goes up, right? When it's not just sort of stamped out just like every other piece of jewelry. When it's handwork or done by a designer, it's worth more. And that's the example here. So these cast discs, she got at the thrift store, and she bought it for $2. So she got the whole cast disc necklace in perfect condition, duly marked, $2 at the thrift store. What's it worth? $175. Really beautiful. A nice work, a very nice work of course, studio jewelry. When you're trying to resell it, jewelry is easy to ship. My next real bargain was based on a video call where my video caller bought a piece of artwork at Goodwill. She went into Goodwill and she said that based on my videos, she knew that the frame would be one of the things to look for, but that recognizing the artist's mature and characteristic style would be good for value. So she's been watching the channel and she realized that she had in front of her an R.C. Gorman. She said she didn't know anything about R.C. Gorman, but she had the loop, which of course I recommend. And that particular example is something that you're going to see that you can get, of course, on my specials and shop page at drloriv.com. And yes, I get a little bit of compensation if you buy a loop from our website. But a couple of different things that I want you to know. The loop taught her something that I've been telling you. Look for what type of brushstroke or dots you see when you look through the magnification of the loop. That will help you. So my video caller said, Dr. Lori, I knew what it was. I saw the signature. It was signed in the plate and also pencil sign. It's a framed color lithograph, I told her, and it was very characteristic. It's called, of course, Woman with the Red Belt, and it is marked, of course, R.C. Gorman by the famous New Mexico Native American artist. This piece, she paid $5 for it with the frame included. What's it worth? $300. Lots of real bargains out there. You got to go get them. All you have to do is watch the channel. I'll show you what's going to be valuable based on actual sales records, and you can score. I'm Dr. Lori. Thanks for being with me. I'll see you next time.